When people dream of travelling to Italy, Tuscany is often the first place they picture, and it's easy to see why. There's something irresistibly charming about its rustic way of life, a true taste of la dolce vita, where hearty cuisine, ancient history, and breathtaking landscapes come together. But Tuscany is far more diverse than the postcard version suggests. This vast region is made up of distinct provinces, each with its own traditions, stories, and scenery. That makes it the perfect place to slow down, venture beyond the famous sights, and truly soak up the culture and beauty of this unforgettable corner of Italy. My journey through Tuscany begins in Pisa. Along with Florence, it's one of the region's main gateways, thanks to its international airport. But this is far more than a place to simply pass through on the way to the Tuscan countryside. Pisa is a grand city with a history to match. For nearly 300 years, during the 11th through the 13th century, it flourished as a powerful port, rivaling Venice and Genoa for control of Mediterranean trade. From its strategic position on the River Arno, close to where it meets the sea, Pisa sent ships measuring up to 150 feet in length across the Mediterranean, bringing home wealth, influence, and ideas that would shape the city we see today. This has got to be Pisa's crowning glory, the baptistry cathedral and the leaning bell tower. I mean, not only are they beautiful, but they're very much a reminder of Pisa's wealthy sea trading days. I just love the way they're all stood here in a row. They look so regal on this beautiful manicured lawn. It really is quite the sight. This is one of the most beautiful cathedrals I've seen in the whole of Italy. The facade is stunning. I love the way the golden mosaics just glisten in the sunlight. I mean, this was built, 100 years or more before the Renaissance period even begun. But apparently Michelangelo himself had to come here because it's so beautiful. I mean, I'm sure he wanted inspiration for his own masterpieces. You can really appreciate the detail and the beauty of the architecture. It was very much Pisa's interpretation of Romanesque. So when you look at the facades of these monuments, you'll see things like rows with tightly packed columns, geometric designs, and the striped marble. It's light and it's elegant, and it gives it like a real uniformity. So it's just very impressive. This is called the Piazza di Duomo, and it was actually nicknamed Campo dei Miracoli, which translates to the Field of Miracles, because of such a grand undertaking. I mean, look at it today, it's mind-blowing. Of course, this is the most famous of the three monuments, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So this bell tower leans around 15 feet, and it started leaning almost immediately after construction began because it was built on unstable soft ground which had a very shallow foundation. And you've had architects over the centuries that have tried to correct the lean. Obviously it hasn't worked. I mean, there are people that climb to the top of it today. You almost can't quite believe that you can do that. It's a very unique monument, and you get a lot of people here doing the very typical pose where they're trying to sort of pose with their hands, and it looks like the tower is leaning on top of them. I mean, it draws a crowd, but it is beautiful. As evening falls, Pisa's warren of narrow streets comes alive. Locals and visitors emerge for the passeggiata, a much-loved Italian tradition of taking a slow, leisurely stroll through the heart of town. In Pisa, that often means wandering along the banks of the River Arno. as the heat of the day finally begins to fade. And the passeggiata often leads naturally into another cherished Italian ritual, the aperitivo. You forget, because these towns are full of these old, beautiful relics. Pisa, of course, with the Leaning Tower and the Duomo. But they all come to life in the evening, and this is when you get a real sense of what local culture and local life is all about. When everybody's out on the streets, just living their life. And aperitivo is such an integral part of the Italian lifestyle in summer. It's all outdoorsy and the temperature's just beautiful. The story of Tuscany begins long before the rise of the Roman Empire. The region takes its name from the Etruscans, the people who lived here centuries before the Romans arrived. More than 2,500 years ago, when Rome was still little more than a small town, the Etruscan civilization was flourishing across this part of Italy, and their influence can still be felt throughout Tuscany, often hidden beneath the medieval streets and Renaissance buildings we see today. Like many of the region's best-known hill towns, Volterra stands on Etruscan foundations and was one of the most important cities in the Etruscan world, a thriving centre of trade protected by a 4-mile-long wall. This is one of the gates which leads into the city of Volterra, and it's called Porta dall'Arco because it's an arched gate, and it's probably the most beautiful because it dates back to the Etruscan period. So this is even before the Romans, and you can still see some of the Etruscan era huge sandstone blocks on the gate, as well as the outline of 3 very eroded Etruscan heads on the gate. I mean, it's amazing. It was one of the passageways into Volterra because, of course, the whole city was fortified with walls to protect this powerful city from invasion. Tuscany's artisanal traditions reach back thousands of years, to the time of the Etruscans. In Volterra, that ancient heritage is expressed through alabaster, a local stone that has been quarried and sculpted here for centuries. The Etruscans shaped it into strikingly lifelike funerary urns, many of which can still be seen in Volterra's Etruscan Museum. Today, only a handful of alabaster workshops remain in the historic centre, where skilled sculptors continue to work the stone by hand, connecting almost 3,000 years of tradition with contemporary design. Wow, this is amazing!
Alabastro.
Toscana, the alabastro.
Di Volterra.
This is amazing. It's all quarried in Volterra, around the town of Volterra. Wow.
Alabastro è tipico di Volterra.
It's a dog.
Labrador.
This is a Labrador.
Too much dogs.
Too much dogs.
Sì, Labrador, ho fatto il barbone.
Quanti anni? Sempre. Tutta tua vita? Desde bambino?
Bambino.
Young.
I make the school.
You make the school of alabaster.
Alabaster.
How long has it taken you to make this?
Un paio di giorni, 2 days.
2 days to make the Labrador. It's softer than marble, so I think it's easier to shape.
Make many
Details, yeah. And what is your name?
Alabaster.
Your name's Alabaster. Your nome também is also Alabaster.
Il nome è Gabriel, quello lì.
Gabrio's Alabaster Workshop. It's absolutely amazing to see that he's created all of this, every design. Grazie mille. Thank you so much for showing us. Gabriel. It's amazing to see the passion he has producing his pieces of art using alabaster. He gave me his card so I can check out his website. It goes to show how important it is nowadays to have a website if you're selling things like products or services, or even if you just have a hobby or a passion project. I think everybody needs a website to showcase what they're all about today. And I've got an amazing discount for you in this video today. I've got 10% off Squarespace. They made it possible for me to create my beautiful looking website. They're an online website design builder, and they make it so easy to build a professional looking website, even if you have no prior knowledge or coding experience like I didn't. They've got lots of ready-made website templates to choose from. So whether you have a passion project, for example, you're a photographer or an artist like the gentleman that I just spoke to, or even if you're just selling your products or services and you need an e-shop, they've got something to suit every need. What's great is their Squarespace Blueprint AI technology, which makes it very easy for you to select the pages that you want for your website and choose things like your font and color aesthetic and a theme like playful or professional to suit the brand aesthetics of your website. It's great because I also launched my merchandise recently, and I was able to add a page where I can sell my merchandise on my website. So I was able to set up all of the products that I'm selling on the page, choose a price point, add a description for each product, and also photos of me modeling the different merchandise. So if you need to build a beautiful professional looking website, then check out Squarespace, because you get a 14-day free trial. And then once you're ready to launch your website or domain, that's when you need to use my code Melini-Angelica so that you can get 10% off at the final stage of checkout. So have fun building your amazing website. This has got to be the most impressive thing about the town of Volterra, the Roman theatre. And from up here, you get a really good view of it. It was built around 100 BC, so it really shows off the thousands of years of history of a town like Volterra. And you can still see the rows of seating for the spectators. When they excavated it, they estimated that it probably could have fit around 3,500 people in the theatre. Pretty much anywhere you dig around here, you are going to find Roman ruins like this one. And it just shows what a powerful city this was during the Roman times. We're talking around 25,000 inhabitants, which is really impressive. And what an amazing view of the surrounding Tuscan countryside from here. It is beautiful. After exploring Volterra, it was time to find a local lunch spot and sample the region's cuisine. Well, this is a great little restaurant I found with an amazing view of the Tuscan countryside. And I've stopped for some lunch. I've ordered the pappardelle pasta with the cinguale, or the wild boar stew. Of course, this region is famous for their wild boars, so this is one of the traditional pastas of Tuscany, and it smells amazing. It's honestly such a tasty meat. It's so tender. It's absolutely delicious. It's just rich and so flavoursome. One of the things I love about coming to Tuscany is just how rich and wholesome the food is here, especially this wild boar pasta. The province of Siena is home to the postcard landscapes that have come to define Tuscany. With verdant rolling hills, country lanes lined with cypress trees, and seemingly endless vineyards producing some of the region's finest wines. It's a timeless landscape dotted with medieval hilltop towns. Rising above the Tuscan countryside, San Gimignano is often called the medieval Manhattan for the tall stone towers that punctuate its skyline. Encircled by 13th century walls, The town's mighty gates once controlled everyone who entered and left this prosperous medieval stronghold. You can't quite imagine that there's going to be a town that's going to be even more beautiful than the last one, but when you come to a place like Tuscany, that's exactly what happens. And San Gimignano is no different. This is such a picture-perfect town, and when you approach it from below and you see the towers on the hilltop, it just looks magical. I'm in the Piazza della Cisterna in San Gimignano, and this place is named after the cistern which supplied the old well. I mean, it's been the center of life here in this town for 1,000 years, and even today it's the place to hang out. We've got lots of cafes and bars and people just chilling out and enjoying the sunset and the beautiful evening. And you've got the old medieval architecture surrounding the piazza, including the medieval towers. So it's a very atmospheric square, and it really is the heart of San Gimignano. It's a very unique town, especially when you walk through the old streets and you look up and see all of these towers. So of the original 60 towers, around 16 remain, and they were essentially fortified homes. They were ways that families protected themselves from thugs and rival city-states that were sacking the towns before the city walls were built. It's honestly so charming around here, and I just love the fact that every Tuscan town has something that makes it so unique. It's so fun to explore them all. One of the best things to do when you visit a Tuscan town is come into one of these small shops. They're almost stores, but sometimes they have these nice tables for you to sit at, and they specialize in all of the typical products of the region. So of course you've got all of the wine, you've got your cheeses and salamis. It literally is a perfect place to learn all about what's produced in this region. Wow, that looks amazing.
Cinta Senese, special pig.
The special pig,
Yeah.
Cinta Senese.
And this is a wild boar. This is a wild boar ham. This is the two with truffle and normally.
Okay, truffle and normal.
Sheep cheese, tradizionale with truffle, with wine, and with orange.
Oh, with wine and orange. So this is all the typical
Yes,
products of
yes.
Tuscany. Oh, of this region.
Yes.
Okay, grazie mille. Thank you. I've been dying to try the salami, which is made from this famous wild boar, which you find a lot of in Tuscany. Delicious. Wow. It's actually got a much more intense flavour than regular pork salami. It's very rich and it's slightly gamey, but it's absolutely delicious. Wow. Wow. So good.
This is the vernaccia from San Gimignano. This is Riserva.
Riserva.
2022.
Okay, so this is the wine of this region.
Only production San Gimignano.
Nice. The white wine.
Yes, it's white.
Okay, grazie mille.
Prego.
Riserva. Salute. This is the traditional wine of this region. Vernaccia is the grape. Delicious. It's actually quite an interesting taste. It tastes a bit like cheese. Can you believe it? It tastes like cheese. It's actually quite famous because this is the first ever wine to receive DOC status in 1966, the first Italian wine. So it's pretty special. This is such a great idea. It's a perfect thing to do when you come to Tuscany because this region in Italy is just renowned for the high quality of its produce, of its salamis, its cheeses, its wines. Like, it's quite literally the best food scene in the whole country. And a shop like this is like the best way to savor all of the Tuscan flavors and ingredients. Don't forget to join my YouTube memberships for access to bonus footage from my trips and personal Q&As with me where I answer your questions like where I'm from and how I got started with content creation. The link to join is in the description box below. Less well known than other parts of Tuscany, the province of Lucca reveals a decidedly different side of the region. Here, familiar rolling hills and olive groves give way to dramatic white marble peaks and deep alpine forests. A landscape far removed from the Tuscany of the postcards, but no less picturesque. At the heart of the province lies Lucca, one of Tuscany's most elegant and beautifully preserved cities. Encircled by its magnificent Renaissance walls, its historic centre is a maze of cobbled streets, graceful piazzas, and centuries-old churches, offering a quieter, more intimate side of Tuscan city life. I've come to the beautiful city of Lucca. Now, this town is really well preserved and I'm about to enter into the old historic centre. So you've got the original walls of the city which surrounds the whole of the historic district. It goes around for 4 kilometres and it was never destroyed. So now you can just walk along the walls and I'm sure there are some incredible views of the historic centre from up there. So these Renaissance walls have stood here since the 16th century and they protected Lucca when it was an independent republic. So now it's just a great place for people to come and wander around. So I've come inside the ancient walls and this is a historic centre. And this is one of the most fascinating and unique parts to this old town. It's the Piazza dell'Anfiteatro. It actually used to be a Roman amphitheatre. So that's why it's got a very unique oval design. And today it's still in that original shape. And the buildings that you see around the piazza were actually built on top of the old walls of the Roman amphitheatre. So today the piazza has lots of restaurants around the edges and there's a little crafts market on today. It just shows you like how in the city of Lucca, history has just sort of blended into like the modern day, but it is literally like history brought to life. Wow, so up there is such a unique tower. It looks like a typical medieval tower, except for it's got these amazing trees growing out of the top of it. It was built by a very wealthy, influential family, the Gimignano family. So it's called the Gimignano Tower. And it was very much a symbol of power and status, hence why they built it with a beautiful garden right at the top. So you can get amazing views of the whole of the historic city from up there and the rolling Tuscan hills. I have just stumbled across what is probably the most beautiful church in all of Lucca, the Duomo di San Martino. This cathedral dates all the way back to the 11th century. You've got these beautiful layered arches and so much intricate carving. And also, if you look very closely at all of the different columns on the facade, they're all different. Like, not one of them is exactly the same, but like much of Lucca, it's kind of been refined over the centuries. So its history is kind of told in layers, and I think that's very much what Lucca is all about. It really sums up the city for me, from the historic walls to all of the gorgeous piazzas and these old churches, and just the life that's lived on the streets, sort of immersed in this history. It's very much what Lucca is all about. The medieval town of Barga sits at the foot of the Alps Apuane and has some of the best panoramic views of the surrounding countryside. The city is known as an open-air museum because it's preserved its medieval walls and many palaces, churches, towers and houses, which still form part of the historical centre. This is the old town of Barga. Now, its history stretches back over 1,000 years, but it's really got its roots in the medieval period. And because it sits right at the top of the mountain, it was a strategic position, a stronghold, essentially. It came under the control of the Republic of Lucca in the medieval period. And just walking through these streets, you can really feel how the city was built to protect the residents, but also for community. It's sort of like a network of alleys, so you can see how it would have been great for defense purposes. I've just arrived at the Duomo di San Cristoforo. This cathedral has been watching over Barga for nearly 1,000 years. Its origins date back to the 11th century, but parts of what you see today were refined and expanded in the following century, so it very much blends early Romanesque architecture with medieval touches. The view is amazing from here. You've got the mountains, you've also got the Alps. They just look incredible. And a lot of the marble that was sourced for famous sculptures like David and a lot of the artwork in Florence was actually sourced from these very mountains. So that's why it's so famous, this part of Italy, for the marble. I found this really cute osteria in one of the piazzas in the historic centre, so it's a great place to stop and have some lunch. And I want to try some typical Tuscan dishes, which are usually centred around meats and ragouts. I got myself a nice glass of red wine. I couldn't resist because there's so many amazing wine bottles around the restaurant. Their wine collection looks really impressive. Let's give this tortelli al ragu a taste. I love how rich the food is in Tuscany. You get very rich meats and sauces, and it pairs so well with the full-bodied red wine from the Tuscany region, of course. Delicious. So for the main course, I ordered a steak. Now the steaks here, they're so good. The quality of the meat is incredible. That meat is so tender. It's absolutely delicious. Of course, I could not end this beautiful lunch without a tiramisu. The different textures of the tiramisu make it my favourite Italian dessert. Cream, the sponginess, the liqueur-soaked base. This has been an incredible lunch. Beautiful. The Lucca province in Tuscany is a land carved by water and stone, largely shaped by the lifeblood of the province, the Serchio River. The river has shaped life here for generations, providing both a lifeline and a pathway through the mountains. Along its banks, medieval bridges stand as enduring reminders of a time when merchants, pilgrims, and travellers crossed these waters on journeys that would take them deep into the heart of Tuscany. I am in a small, quaint town which is called Bagni di Lucca, and it's hidden in the hills of the Lucca province, which is really characterized by these huge mountains and the Alpine Alps. So it's a very different landscape to the kind of classic Tuscany image that a lot of us have. Just take a look at this view in front of me. It is something straight out of a painting. Bagni actually means bath in Italian, and this region is famous for the thermal springs. So Bagni di Lucca has been a retreat for centuries. You had writers, poets, and travelers that came here to enjoy the thermal springs, and you still have a lot of visitors today who come here for that. So it's just a very peaceful atmosphere. People come here to enjoy the nature, the history, and the beautiful landscapes in this part of Tuscany. From this suspension bridge, you get the most amazing views of the arch bridge here in Bagni di Lucca. It looks so breathtakingly beautiful. Right at the end of this suspension bridge, you've got turrets of what looks like, the ruins of an ancient fortress or castle. So you've got that kind of medieval feel to it, and this part of Italy is very much characterized by royalty. The Medici family, very well known in the Tuscan region. And you've got these kind of grand palazzos all around. So you've got a real aristocratic feeling here in this town. The many charms of Tuscany reward the traveller with a fascinating insight into a land where living well has become a time-honoured art. It can be found in the food, the landscapes, the ancient towns, and the traditions that have been passed down through generations. From the historic streets of Pisa and the Etruscan foundations of Volterra, to San Gimignano's medieval towers, Siena's rolling countryside, and the dramatic landscapes of Lucca, my journey has revealed a region of remarkable beauty and variety. Each province has its own character, history, and way of life, and together they make Tuscany a place to explore slowly, savour fully, and return to again and again. Well, that's us trying and failing to do the epic shot that everybody is doing. I didn't want to be a party pooper, so I thought I'd get involved. Yeah? Got it? No?